the promoters lose a lot of money in this business. I mean, just
Hey,
investing in one fighter. Can you
I
speak to
just
that
did,
to educate us?
right. I just did a show in El Paso, Texas on Friday, and I lost $10,000 on the show. So how do you recoup that money? You just have to keep grinding. You keep grinding. But most boxers think that all promoters are making money and they're taking advantage of them. You
No.
know, and so they fail to realize that it's a building process. And if you look at the fighters, the promoters spending more money for the opponents than they are for their own fighters.
That's correct.
So they got fly them in. They're spending money to fly them in. Uh, I'll give you an example. I had a last minute fallout in El Paso for a 6 round fight. The guy was getting $3,000. Well, I was a week out from the fight, so this person wanted five thousand
I'm about
dollars.
to say it's gonna cost you at least
Oh,
five, Marsh. I
yeah.
already know.
Not just
Yep.
that, it cost me 5,000, 2,000 more for the opponent. Plus, I had to pay an additional $1,000 for the flights. So right there's an additional $3,000 overall. You know, they don't see that. You
Yep.
know, they
Yep.
they just don't see what goes into it. Then you're up all night trying to find a replacement on top of that. And so when I lose $10,000 and I spent a whole month to 6 weeks on this show, how much money did I make? You know what I mean?
All right.
And so at the end of the day, they're still walking out of there with money, whether it's $500 or whether it's $5,000. They're still walking out of there with money when I didn't. Okay. I hope that someday, and there's never a promise, because they can easily quit, they can get hurt, whatever the case may be. But I hope that someday I can recoup my money. Doesn't always happen, but I've been blessed enough to make money by staying consistent and staying in the business. I put a lot of money on Kermit Cintron. I made it back eventually. I put a lot of money into ALYCIA BAUMGARDNER. I made it back. Okay. I put a lot of money into my son. I didn't make it back because he's my son. But that's just how it rolls. And they
Yeah.
all think that the promoters make a lot of money, you know, and that's not the case. You
Yep.
know,
I mean, look,
the
just
promoters are
building.
just smarter. The promoters are just smarter businessmen, and that's it. And they take more risk because they know that hopefully the rewards will be around the corner.
Yep. And I was just about to allude to the reward being around the corner. And sometimes the around the corner is 5 years later, three
You're
years
absolutely
later,
right.
6 years later, because after you build up this fighter, and let's say the fighter gets into world championship contention, now you can talk about, making your initial investment back, hopefully, and then a profit. But that's years down the line we're talking about, man.
Hey, look, I've had fighters say to me, "Hey, can you sign me? But I only want to do a 2 year contract." I'm like, "No, I don't do that. I'm sorry." "Well, why do you want to lock me in for so long?" I said, "Because it takes that long to recoup my money."
Yep.
I said, "That's why." "Oh no, but I'll still sign with you after 2 years." Doesn't work like that. I'm
Nope.
sorry. I'm not going to get you 10 fights, and then after 2 years, you're going to move on to somebody else because now you're 10-0. I
Yep.
said, what you're doing is you're backing me into a corner and forcing me to put you in a tough fight to see really what you have made, how good you are. Because that's what it does. It forces you to put them in a tough fight when you have
Oh
a
yeah.
shorter contract with them, you know?
Yep.
And so I just don't do shorter contracts. That's all.
Yeah. Hey man,
Unless
listen.
it's someone that has 15 fights already, that type of thing. Because
Oh
then
yeah.
the build up process isn't there. So then you can do a shorter contract with them. But someone who's just beginning, no, it's a 5 year contract.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. And there's contracts that are a minimum of three. And
Yes,
then once we get you to, let's say, a regional title, automatically, you know, just rolls over.
that's
Because
right.
now, getting anybody to a regional or a world title, that's not free either.
That's right. That's right.
So
No,
it's all about business.